Welcome to this week's episode of the official Heisman Trophy podcast. We're excited to have on with us today Cameron Ward, quarterback from Washington State, a junior quarterback. Let's tell you a little bit about him coming in. He comes from West Columbia, Texas, where he went to Columbia High School. It's interesting about him is that he ran a wing T offense in high school, so he wasn't highly recruited. He only attempted 12 passes a game as a senior. He had some interest from some schools like Texas A&M, but he ended up going the FCS route, and he went to Incarnate Word in San Antonio, Texas. He spent 2 very productive seasons there. His first season there, he was the Jerry Rice Award winner. His second season, he was the Southland Conference Offensive Player of the Year. He had over 4,600 yards and 46 touchdown passes, and then he transferred over to Washington State. Last season, he had a very successful year, over 3,200 passing yards, 23 touchdowns, and then this year he's made a big jump. So far this season, through 4 games, he has 1,389 passing yards, 13 touchdown passes, completing 75% of his passes. He also has 3 rushing touchdowns, which gives him 16 total touchdowns on the year, which is tied for second in the country with Michael Penix Jr. He has actually a streak of 141 passes without an interception, which also leads the nation. Last week, his Cougars defeated the number 14 Oregon State Beavers 38-35, and for his efforts there, he was named not only the Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Week, but also the Walter Camp National Player of the Week. And now the Cougars have UCLA coming up next week. He just spent a bye week last weekend, and so they're looking forward to a big game in Los Angeles. Cam Ward, quarterback, Washington State, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you. Appreciate you for having me.
Congratulations on your big win over Oregon State. Your team is ranked 16th in the AP poll, and it looks like you made a really big jump from last year. You're off to a great start this season. To what do you attribute this great improvement?
Really to all the hard work that we had put in the offseason, from myself, from the whole offense as a whole, from the defense. I feel like each and every person on the team has, just made tremendous improvements. Especially with the coaching changes that we had as DC and OC. I feel like those two guys, Coach Schmidt and Coach Buck, they came in and really implemented what they wanted us to do scheme wise. So it's just right now, it's just really all of us working together and, just trying to go win each and every Saturday.
I want to talk a little bit about your journey. You started out at Columbia High is it Columbia High in West Columbia, Texas?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Not too far from Houston. I understand you played in a wing T offense in high school. Obviously, you didn't get too much of a chance to develop in that scheme, your skills as a passer. But what things did you take away from that offense?
The biggest thing I took away from that offense is 3-step and 5-step drops. That's something that, even in Little League, we were throwing the ball in my Little League. So once I got to junior high school, it was straight power eye, wing T, a lot of misdirection. But the biggest thing that I took from that is just 3-step and 5-step drops.
Right. What about did you have to run the ball more in that offense too?
Not really. I was able to have 3 good running backs at the time, but, they did a lot of the heavy lifting. We would throw it a couple times a game. But, I really didn't run the ball that much at that time.
Yeah. So you went to FCS Incarnate Word and won the starting job as a freshman, and you had more attempts in 6 games in your first season than you did your entire senior season in high school. What was the key to your development as a passer, between that senior year going into your freshman year?
Really just trusting the process. And it was hard. When I first got to UIW, me transitioned from a wing T to an air raid offense, that playbook, it wasn't easy for me to learn. There's a lot of days where I would just have to sit in a room and just really going through the base plays before we even get to all the whether like the deep choice routes, all the the deep posts with the over routes. It was really more of me just focusing on how to read forward verts, wide cross, all of that. So I really had to go with the basics for a long time before I got the hang of it.
Now you guys played in the spring, right, because of COVID?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Did that help too because you had a little bit more time to sort of absorb the offense?
That helped for sure. And that's why I believe COVID, it wasn't good, obviously, for the country. But in my situation, it was good for me because it allowed me to, compete for the starting job. Because if we would have played that fall season, I for sure wouldn't have been that started at UIW at that time. So, it gave me a little bit of an edge on the other quarterbacks because it allowed me, learn the playbook more, learn how to set protections more. So, it for sure helped me get me ready for that spring season. When it was time to play football, I just let it all loose.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a silver lining there. So by your sophomore season, you're just starting to put up dominant numbers for your team. You got 4,600 yards passing, 47 touchdown passes. Was it this the point where you really got a sense that you could move up to the next level, to the FBS level?
For sure, for sure. Especially after coming off, a good freshman season like I had, I was able to win the Jerry Rice Award there as best FCS freshman player of the year. So I feel like at the time it was ready for me to move on my journey. Because at the end of the day, where I want to give football, a lot of scouts, a lot of people don't really look at FCS tape. So I feel like it was right timing, and when I needed to make that decision, everything worked out for the better.
The transfer portal has seen a few FCS players do pretty well in the FBS. What's the main difference between the two levels?
The biggest difference is just the O line and D line, and it's really the defensive ends. The defensive ends they're way more athletic up here. They have better pass rush moves. The biggest thing that I've learned is that every defensive end has a third down move.
Mm-hmm.
So the back end, the secondary, the running backs, all of that is the same at the FCS. I actually believe FCS has more better skill positions than FBS in my opinion. So just being able to play with some of the guys that I did that time at UIW, they can for sure start up here at the Power Five level. So at the end of the day, it's all just becomes to whether. At the end of the day, it just comes down to football. Just 11 on 11 got to be better than the man you are in front of you.
Yeah, maybe between you and Shadur Sanders, you guys can be kind of the Pied Pipers for the FCS skill guys.
Yes, sir.
So
Trying
what
to.
so what was it that drew you to Washington State?
Really, really pull him into place. So my head coach at the time, UIW, he ended up being an offensive coordinator here. So that was a big influence on me coming up here. But as soon as I stepped on Pullman, I'm from a small town. It has small town vibes. So it wasn't really anything too flashy about Pullman, and just it was somewhere where I can focus on football and focus on becoming a better man. And that's why I feel like I've grown these past 2 years being here. I'm just excited to be here, and I've been blessed.
Yeah, I hear a big reason that you chose Pullman was because it had a Dairy Queen, and you're quite the Dairy Queen
No, if
fan.
you got a Dairy Queen in a small town, you living right. I'll tell you that right now.
Are you also like a Whataburger fan from in Texas?
Yes, sir. I am. I am. A lot of my teammates, especially RJ, he says In and Out burgers are better. I'll agree on that. It's just because he doesn't get the right stuff from Whataburger. You don't get the burger if you go to Whataburger. You got to get, the honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich, sub honey butter on there. Get the honey butter chicken biscuit. You got to get the off script stuff. You can't get
Right.
the first stuff that you see.
Well, you'll be in LA next week, and some people consider LA the hamburger capital of the world. Lots of great hamburger joints there, so you can try In and Out at a bunch of other places potentially. Uh, I noticed in this game against Oregon State, Josh Kelly. Boy, you guys have a great connection. Uh, and this, he made some amazing catches in that game, and of course, you put the ball in just perfect places for him to catch it. Was this something was happening in the off season, or is just this suddenly developing in this one game?
It's been happening since January, since he first got here. The things that not only that he did Saturday, what Kyle Williams did, that's probably not even the most craziest thing that I've seen them do. I mean, the things that they did when they first got here in the spring, in the summer, even in fall camp, the catches that they've made, I just got to put the ball in play. I just got to do my job. And so, there'll for sure be a lot more plays for him and Kyle out there just like that. But those two guys, they're real lenient with me. They were very patient
Mm-hmm.
with me first getting here. We had to get a lot of timing done. But the way they run routes, the way they can win versus man, it's good for me to have receivers like that who I trust just like that to just go put the ball in play.
You certainly look really confident out there playing. Do you feel more confident? Like it's almost like, you had your development has always been like you have like the one season of adjustment, and then your next season you blow up, and then that happened at UIW. Seems to happen at Washington State. You had a pretty good year last year, but now you're off to a great start. Is it just something where the game has slowed down a bit for you at this level?
I wouldn't even say it slowed down because, in my opinion, it's the same speed as the FCS level was. But I'll probably say the biggest thing from last season this season is that we just have a more mature team, in my opinion. From myself, I've grown so much as a player in the film room, on the field. The people that I have around me in the offensive line, the trenches, they've grown so much a year ago. The defensive line, who's the backbone of the defense, what they've done, RJ and BJ, what they've done for this program. So I just think we're just a different group this year. We're all playing together as one.
I saw some highlights of you playing basketball in high school. You seem to be quite the shooter. I guess basketball was your first love.
Yes, sir. Basketball was my first love. I'm a big Kobe Bryant fan. My room at home, I have a signed Kobe by jersey, signed basketball by him. I have a
Ah,
big Kobe mural on my wall. So I was a big Kobe Bryant fan coming up. I loved playing baseball when I was younger. I didn't get to do that as I got to high school because I did so much travel AAU basketball.
yeah.
But I'm a big basketball fan. But football slowly took over.
Who's your team that you follow the most in basketball?
The Lakers for
The
sure.
Lakers. Always a Lakers fan, huh?
Hmm.
What do you enjoy the most about playing college football?
Playing in front of 40,000 people, probably. Um, Friday night lights in Texas, especially in small town, it can get loud there. When I transitioned to my FCS, my first 2 years in college, we're only playing in front of, especially at home, maybe 5,000 people max. So I never really got to play in front of a packed stadium like that. In high school, I
Yeah.
was able to take visits. I went to Texas A&M, see how loud their stadium got. Go to U of H, see how loud their stadium got. So it's always been a dream of mine to play in front of packed stadiums. I'm excited to be living that out right now. So that's for sure probably the most forward things I'll be looking to each and every week, playing in front of a lot of people.
What's been your most memorable college football moment, and what game this year, or what setting this year are you looking the most forward to?
My most memorable game was against Lamar. My freshman year at UIW is my second start. I can't remember how many yards I had, but it was just one throw. I was rolling out to the right on like the 30-yard line, threw it all the way back across my body to my running back for a touchdown on a rope. So that's probably one of my most memorable plays. As far as this year, I'd probably say Josh Kelly played last week versus Oregon State, where I just threw a stop route for 15, 10 yards. He did the rest, breaking three tackles, racing to the end zone. So he for sure got the crowd hyped up on that one. But that's probably my best play so far this year.
Are you looking forward to playing in the Rose Bowl?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm real looking forward to playing it. I have some family members coming down from Texas. I haven't seen them in a while, so it'd be good to see them after the game. But it's a lot of historic tradition at the Rose Bowl, and we get to play on some nice grass, and so I'm excited for that opportunity.
There's been a long line of great Washington State quarterbacks. How much do you know about that great lineage up there in the Palouse?
I think I know enough. From Leaf, Bledsoe, Gardner. I got a chance to talk to Luke Falk, Brink. The quarterback tree here, it's deep for sure. But at the end of my time here, I'm just trying to put myself up there with those guys.
Say you are a Heisman Trophy voter and you're looking to vote for a quarterback, and you want to, you know, kind of differentiate or look for a quarterback and to see what differentiates that quarterback from other quarterbacks besides yards and touchdowns. What are the things you would look for to sort of, find a quarterback that stands out?
I'd probably say the biggest thing is that you got to watch the film. A lot of media outsources, they like to go off just statistics. But I believe if you're going to take a chance on someone, you have to watch the film, see how they can get through hard times, whether it's after a fumble, interception, whether their defense isn't doing good one game. I feel like you have to look at a person like that and how he responds, and then also just the plays that they're making, whether it's with their arm, outside the pocket, inside the pocket, with their feet. So I think a lot of goes into it. But I'm for sure if I'm grateful for the opportunity, I'm just trying to put everything I can and showcase my skills on tape.
Yeah, I noticed that you're really comfortable in the pocket, moving around, buying time. There's a couple plays against Oregon State where you had a ton of time because you had created that time and really moved around really well. What are some of the quarterbacks who you think that you compare favorably to?
Personally, I don't really compare myself to anybody, but I do like watching a lot of quarterbacks, especially in the NFL. I love watching Pat Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Tua right now, who's balling. Joe Burrow, I love watching him now, especially when he was at LSU at the time. USC right now, Caleb Williams, the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, he's still balling out right now. He's playing good football. Mike Penix at Washington, he's playing good football. So it's a lot of good quarterbacks. So you can turn on TV, you see a show each and every day.
Yeah. It's a long way to go, but if you were to find yourself in New York City as a Heisman Trophy finalist, what would that mean to you?
It'd be a blessing for sure. Because not a lot of kids from where I'm from, especially a small town, will get an opportunity like that. Especially in the journey that I've had. It's definitely be a stepping stone on my journey where I want to go playing football. But it'll only be the beginning for me. I'm never satisfied. I love working. I like being coachable. It'll for sure be a blessing.
Did you have any personal goals before the season started?
Personal goals this year is really be Pac-12 championship. Utah, they're the reigning Pac-12 championships. They're back to back. They have the title. If we can get an opportunity to play those guys, I'm sure we'll take advantage of it. But personally, I'm just trying to win a Pac-12 championship.
Tell you what, that game against Oregon State was a great first step. Cam Ward, thanks for coming on the official Heisman Trophy podcast. We appreciate you taking the time, and we wish you and your team the best of luck.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Thank you.